Hello and welcome back. For our next assignment, we're taking a look at a Quizizz activity. So for this one, we're practicing our radical and rational exponents and also a little bit of simplifying as well. So remember, the numbering is power and root is on the bottom when we're making it a rational exponent. So for this first one, 7, and we don't see any power number. So remember that means that this is just 1 7. So it's just a 7 to the first root when we number root, right? So when we're writing our half. So go ahead and click that. For the next one, start with our base that we're focusing on, which is a 4. And I'm talking about this 4 here on the inside. So that 4, we want to write this as a rational exponent. So it's being raised to the power 4. This is a little bit of a typo because this parenthesis should be over here. So it's raised to the power of 4, and the root is a cube root, or 3. So this is a 4 to the 4/3. So we're selecting that answer choice. Our power is 4 and our root is 3. Incredible. Moving on to question number 3. Our base is that number 2, and the power of that 2 is a 5. Power goes on top, and root, whatever that number is inside the radical symbol, our root here is 3. So this is a 2 to the 5/3. 2 to the 5/3 is how we would rewrite that. For this next one, it wants us to evaluate or simplify this expression. So this is 25 to the 3/2. Now we practice doing this in our calculator. So we can go right into our calculator and type in that number 25. When you want to type an exponent, remember typing, I'm not sure what color my pen is. You're hitting this A to B button whenever you want to type in an exponent. A to the B. So we're going to hit 25 to the 3/2. Type in that fractional exponent and it is 125. So there's our final answer. Beautiful. Going to do a similar thing for question 5 here, 64 to the 2/3. So use your calculator, type in that 64, and then hit that A to the B button, right? And type your fraction by using division, 2 divided by 3, or you could do, you can use the buttons 2 divided by 3 to get that 2/3, and you should get 16. 16 there. Nice job. This one is 8 to the 1/3. So remember, what's asking us, power of 8 is just 1, and the root is 3. So we're taking the cube root of 8. So what number multiplied by itself 3 times is going to get us 8? And whether we type that into the calculator or maybe you know that, that's going to be the number. All right, if I type 8 to the 1/3, we should get 2. I could also type it by hitting the button under A to the B to type the cube root of 8, and it will be the same. Okay? Beautiful. Question 7, we have 5 to the 1/2. So again, remember our handy tool of power root. So this is saying that the power and the root is 2. So which of these options have a 5 with the power of 1 and a root of 2? 5 to the first power, but we won't see that little 1. We don't put it there. And then we want to put a square root around it. So 5 to the 1/2 is the same thing as the square root of 5. Brilliant. Oops, I did submit. There we go. All right, question 8. The fourth root of m cubed is the same as which answer? We have this 4 that's on the outside, so it's telling us it's the fourth root. It's a little 4, it's the index of m cubed. So m base, and we want to write it as a fractional exponent. Power goes on top, right, which is 3. That's the number inside. And our root is next to that root symbol, which is a 4. So this is an m 3/4. Beautiful. Alrighty, this next one we have a cube root. So we got a lot going on here. So this is the cube root of 27, x to the 4th, y to the 5th, z cubed. Okay? So we want to break this down. Think about it in parts. So first, we have the cube of 27. And 27 is a perfect cube, but if we're not sure, maybe we don't remember, we can go into our calculator and we'll see that the cube root of 27 is, and again, that's just 3 multiplied by itself 3 times gets us 27. 3 times 3 is 9, times another 3 is 27. There's definitely going to be a 3 in the front. Then we have the cube root of x to the 4th. So we did some of these similar on that quiz. When you're trying to figure out how much you can take out, you can only take out however many we see. That root is 3. So we can take out or rewrite this. We'd want to rewrite this as the cube root of x cubed times the cube root of first. Now notice that we still have 4 x's, right? Because we have 3 x's here and 1 here. So I just took 3 and put them separately. I did 3 because we have a cube root. So the cube root of x cubed, that's going to cancel out, and x on the outside. And then we still have a cube root of x on the inside left over. Okay? We also have the cube root of y to the 5th, looking at next piece under this radical symbol. So again, just split it up. We want to make a group of 3 if we can. If we can, then we can pull a y out. So 5 is bigger than 3. So we a group of, and we'll need to have this that are under that cube root symbol. Y squared. Right? 2 y's, y squared. Again, the cube root of y cubed cancels out. And we are left with pull to the front, just like we pulled that 3 to the front and the x, and we're still left with a y squared. And then finally, the last piece we have here, on top, the cube root of z cubed, which makes it nice and easy because it's already in a group of 3. We can just cancel that right away. The cube root of z cubed is just z. So piecing all of this together, because I did it kind of one piece at a time, we have x, we have y, the cube root of y squared, and we have z. So in the front, all together, we pulled out a 3, we pulled out x, y, and z. So we have 3x, y, z. Left, under that cube root, with an x and a y squared. So that option's going to be right here. 3x, y, z pulled out, and then underneath our root symbol, we still have an x and a y squared. And there should be a little tiny 3 here because it's a cube root. So that's our final answer option. Beautiful. That was a long one. There was a lot of pieces we had to look at there, do it one at a time, but y'all rocked it. Nice and slow. The square root of 80x squared y. We're going to simplify this. So let's look at the square first. And then down into pieces. Might get better that way. Hopefully it feels healthy to you. So right now I'm just focusing on this 8. Okay? 80 is a perfect square. And we want to find a number that goes into 80. If I go my calculator, can go at 80, maybe 36 does. Not quite. So I'm looking at my perfect square list to find, how about 25? Nope. What about 16? 16 goes in perfectly. So we can rewrite square root as the square root of 16 times the square root. And at number 5, right, times 5 gets us 8 here when I divided. Well, the square root of 16, looking at our list over on the right, the square root of 16 is 4. So this is 4 square roots of 5. And that's just the number part. Already, we know it can't be B, and it can't even be A, just by getting that first part, because we have to have a in the front. But just to check the rest, the square root of x squared, square root, and squaring are going to cancel each other right out. So we're just left with an x. And then we have the square root of y. That cannot be simplified, so that'll just stay as is. So that's why our final answer, putting these 3 together, pulled it into 3 different parts to work on it. So if x are out front, in front of the radical symbol, and still inside is a 5 and a y, which means our answer option is B. Beautiful. Question 11. This is a throwback again to your exponent learning. Perhaps you remember anything raised to the 0 power is always what? So this 3 to the 0 power is going to be the same as 2 to the 0 power, which is going to be the same to the 0 power. Always equals, it's not 0, it's actually 1. So anything raised to the 0 power. Okay. Beautiful. I'm going to select 1. And just because of time for the video, I'm going to pause here. So we're going to continue the last 3 problems in part 2. Okay? So check out video part 2 for the last 3 problems. You rock.